Hello, my name is Colin Aikenhead and I'm a Microsoft consultant in chess. With me today I've got Chris Williams from Microsoft. Chris is a channel manager for Modern Workplace and he helps Microsoft partners like chess advise customers on their digital transformation. Chris is going to talk about Microsoft Copilot today. In my experience, it's one of the most anticipated product launches for Microsoft since Windows 95. So Chris, what is the excitement all about? What are the important features of Copilot that our customers should know?
Cool. Thank you very much, Colin. Let's have a talk about that then, shall we? And thank you everybody for jumping on. Before I talk about Copilot, I maybe want to set the scene a little bit. We do something every single year, and we actually have ad hoc ones that we release as well. Something called the Work Trend Index. If you're not familiar with it, you can see the link on the screen. But these are studies to understand the needs of customers across the globe, across various different countries, and they're large studies, helping us understand needs, challenges that we can help and address. And one of the things in the most recent study we completed, Will AI Fix Work? One of the concepts that came out was digital debt. Now, myself on Monday morning, I walked up to my laptop, 8:30 in the morning. I triage my inbox, my Teams messages, everything is groovy. But 9 o'clock, jump on my first call, finish my call at just after 10. I've got another call at 10:30. I get off that call and I'm inundated. I have 13 separate Teams messages. I have over 10 emails, all of which I need to respond to. I'm sure people watching this can kind of relate to that situation. An influx of information forward to you. 64% of people struggle with having the time and energy to do their job, and it's because of things like that, digital debt. And you don't always know the answer to the questions that are posed to you, and you spend a lot of time searching for that. And what leaders talk about here is that creates a stifling impact on innovation and breakthrough ideas. It causes a challenge for businesses. So is it any surprise that 70% of people would delegate as much work as possible to AI to lessen their workloads? I think maybe the only surprise is that statistic maybe isn't higher. And when we think about AI, it ranges from the curiosity to the concern. There's been a lot of conversation in the press, in the media, within your businesses and within your individuals that you engage with, friends and family. One of the interesting things that came out here is leaders are 2 times more interested in using AI to increase productivity than they are to cut headcount. And that's a concern that people have within their roles. Will AI take my role? Typically, the view that leaders are taking here is they want to use AI to grow the business, seeing the benefit that it can provide. Before I start talking about the technology, digital hands up for those that have used ChatGPT. I expect to see a lot of hands going up. It's a remarkable slide for me on the fact that these technologies, mobile phones, internet, Facebook, you've probably used these technologies in the last hour, maybe at least 2 of them. But look how long it took them to get to 100 million users. ChatGPT did that in 3 months. Easy for me to say. The appetite for generative AI and understanding how it can help you as an individual and organizations is massive. We need to make sure that we do that in the right way. We'll take a look at Microsoft 365 Copilot, your AI assistant for work. So what is Microsoft 365 Copilot? Now, what you can see on the screen in front of you, large language models. Something maybe you'd not heard of a year and a half, maybe even less than that, but a year and a half, 2 years ago, you'd not heard of a large language model, LLM. ChatGPT is an LLM. I think one thing that I would dispel immediately, Microsoft 365 Copilot is not your data and your applications connected to ChatGPT. It is connected to an exclusive instance of the large language model, hosted in your environment. So your data and your applications and how you engage there is protected. And we'll talk more about security in a moment. Think internet and intranet. The internet is for everybody to use, wide availability. Intranet is for your organization to use. That's really the way to think about Microsoft 365 Copilot and where we're talking about large language models here. When we talk about your data, the Microsoft Graph already exists. But something else that Copilot draws upon is the semantic index, which is new to our Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, E3 and E5 Microsoft 365 licenses. And this is a capability that creates relationships between data, helping Copilot go and drive the outcome that you're looking for it to drive for you. And it finds a home in the applications that you'll use every single day. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, Loop components, and more. You'll be able to engage with Copilot in those applications, as well as being able to utilize the Microsoft 365 chat application. Then break out into those environments. If you're getting it to draft you an email response, but actually you now need to go into Outlook, it will then open that in Outlook for you. And we'll take a look at a couple of these applications utilizing Copilot shortly. But the next piece I wanted to talk about is security. Absolutely rightly so, security and data security of the organization is always top of mind. And when we think about AI utilizing that data, what do we need to be aware of? The really important thing here is your data is your data. That does not change. Copilot respects the organizational policies that are in place. So access control on SharePoints, information protection at the document level, Copilot understands that. So if an individual in the organization is trying to reference a document that they don't have access to, Copilot will not find or relate information from that document to that individual. It respects the security, compliance, and privacy of the organization based on what is already there. You will also have the capability to remove SharePoints from being indexed by Copilot. So if there is information that you want to be absolutely secure, under no circumstances is Copilot going to index it, you can cloak SharePoints from being referenced by the indexing. Responsible AI is at the heart of everything that we do. We consider ourselves a leader in this space to make sure that it is used for the right purposes. The other thing that I want to reference here as well and talk about, really the thought here is AI will help individuals get to outcomes quicker. You will not necessarily have to start from a standing start when it comes to creating a presentation or analyzing data. You can get Copilot to help you on some of that journey. But the individual is always in control. It is always your work. AI, it's not AI on autopilot. It is your co-pilot for work. But as I mentioned, it will save time, energy, help you get more done, and generate new ideas of ways in which to bring information across to internal colleagues in training or externals in terms of customers and how you engage with them. Copilot will help you with those outcomes. Let's take a look at Copilot in Excel to maybe help visualize that.
You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need, but you want to drill in. You ask Copilot to follow up question about one of the trends. Copilot creates a new sheet, helping you better understand what's going on with this customer. You ask Copilot to visualize what contributed to the decline in sales growth this period. Copilot adds a little color to make the problem jump off the page. Now you want to dig deeper and ask a follow-up question. Copilot not only answers your question, it creates a simple model of the scenario, and even asks if you want to learn more about what it did, with a step-by-step breakdown. Finally, you can ask it to create a graph of your projected model. Copilot turned a sea of data into clear insights and actions.
So I don't know about anybody else, but I've sat in front of Excel for hours, making sure I get the right view of data. And I'm not too bad with Excel. I'm all right with it. But the thing I love about Copilot here is it can still help you get to the outcome much quicker, but also help you understand as to what it did. Help develop your understanding as to how it analyzes data, but for various different roles in the organization, whether it's from marketing wanting to understand trends, or whether it's finance from wanting to be able to forecast or understand the business finances that sit behind the scenes, sales from understanding as to what products are driving the best outcomes, whatever it might be, various different roles in the organization can benefit. Let's take a look quickly at another example of Copilot in PowerPoint.
Now let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone is at a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Well, guess what? Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint, and it can also translate PowerPoint into a Word document. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. I'll give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot can even generate speaker notes. Now I'm serious, speaker notes. It's not only a time saver, it's helping me be a better presenter and close this deal.
Now I know what you're thinking. Chris, did you use Copilot to build your presentation today? I did not use Copilot to build my presentation today. But it was only a few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, I found myself in a scenario where my darling wife was working from home and she was wanting me to help her with something on PowerPoint. And the scenario was that she had a document, a Word document where policy information was held in it, and she needed to create a training document that managers would utilize to deliver that new policy to employees. She had to transfer that information, create the hierarchy views within the PowerPoint manually. It took an extremely long time. With Copilot, at least that first draft, that step forward would have been taken much quicker. So again, for various different individuals within organizations, in PowerPoint, in Excel, and we've not seen Outlook and Word and all the other various capabilities there because we've not quite got time in this session. But the possibilities are endless as to how this can support organizations. So maybe an important thing to think about is how can you get started with Copilot today? How can you get ready for Copilot? I think is the important thing to say. Now, one of the ways in which you can get started is through Bing Chat Enterprise. Now, we've not had the opportunity to talk about Bing Chat Enterprise, but here for Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, and Microsoft 365 E3 and E5 customers, you actually have the ability to be able to switch Bing Chat Enterprise on at no additional cost. And really what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be giving individuals access to generative AI capabilities. It's connected to a GPT model. Your commercial data is protected. So anything you plug into that model, we don't have eyes on, we don't remember, and is purged from the environment as soon as you close that browser. It gives individuals the ability to get started with AI. The other piece to think about here as well is the licensing that you've got in place. It's never fun to talk about licensing, but it is a requirement here. But those licenses I mentioned before, Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, and Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, those are licenses in which Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, can be attached to for an additional cost of $30 per user per month. Those are the licenses that it has to be attached to. You can also review the product requirements, a couple just to mention. So you have to be on the current update channel with regards to updates for the environment and have installed applications, just as a couple to mention. But you can review and work with Chess to understand as to what those product requirements look like versus where you're currently at. And for the final ones, maybe extremely important and most important, because regardless of Microsoft 365 Copilot and your desires there, data governance has never been more important. Security is paramount for organizations. So here it's about understanding file permissions and policies in place around data loss prevention to ensure, as I mentioned earlier, only the right people have access to that information. So that when people are trying to reference information through Copilot from zero trust principles, they only get the access that they require. And we have control over not only the files, but the SharePoints themselves as well. And in that circumstance, for those 4 licenses I mentioned before, you have the capabilities within Business Premium, E3 and E5, the Microsoft 365 licenses, to switch on those capabilities. Again, you can work with Chess to understand more about that. But those are some of the things that you can do to get started and get ready for Copilot today. Thank you very much, Colin and Chess, for giving me the opportunity. I'll hand back over to you, Colin.
Thanks, Chris. That was very, very interesting, very helpful. We've only had 15 minutes today, but earlier today, Chris and I recorded a Q&A just to go through some of the commonly asked questions about Copilot, which you can access as a bonus feature in the Future Fit conference. And obviously, if you want to know anything more about preparing or purchasing Copilot, please get in touch with Jess.